There won't be too long. A situation that my eyes can't see. The light you can't see for the understanding that there's a light that shines deep inside of your soul. Eliminating what the dark they try to take control. For the place that embraced your matter, but to make yourself complete. The universe and the whole is surrounding me. That you can know the verse and the knowing where I'm gonna go, but there's a good way to come back. Get to what you could left off. From to the sun, from the beginning to ending of the week. For the stars and gods, and then make it to the weekend. As far as you could be the stranger response to the complete. Stranger which responded for the contentment and the contentions and contemplating for the confidence of being contorted for the could have been easily ignored, but you had the truth and lies and amnesty for the generous. Marriage to turning cheeks in the reality checks. Cash, you're maintaining that someone that Jason has it have that hazard for the caution of the bar, you need a chance and ask yourself to dance. You should call the song the doll and do the cabbage patch. Looking with the cherishing eyes and you move so averaging. Crowd in your pocket for the soul, for the heart pants and your button up sleeves for the next weekend in the cup of the experiences with the sun, with the rain light. It would eliminate the dance hall together, whether with the weather or not, for the moment's a good day, for the time has always been for me to play. She's my shadow and my breeze and my oxygen to the dreams, joys, and you can ever soon take away. Life for the light meant to be an enlightenment. Excited for the love that you can heal your touching spines and send all tongue-tied, wash your ties enough for the vast air. Water toes and nature's and ways and no goodbyes and says good times and days. Good wine and a good burn, little fade with the way to darkness. Exists and you are still in the matter so you can come to make it part of your own love, shining for the blind to see. Open for the blinds and allow this life for what it's meant for, always be in pursuit and alignment with where you are for the sun, you are my love and heart. Wisdom of the rising and the transcender with attraction, unexpected for the charging of crystals and distance eliminated by the moon rocks. Beautiful, complete harmony for the elements and fell in love with the feeling of the falling and you can feel better when you're falling asleep. Dream, brand new flower looking up, brand new partner for the partner who has that partner for the partner of a strange land for the discovering that nothing is ocean. Never be lost without a lighthouse to bring to shore. Nature's lamp for the cycle for man's dependence and the neglect for the knowledge of relationships with the stars are shaping the relationship for you like the finest I can see them like I'm sitting in balance and finding the rhythm never to move with the star. Equations to compromising. Equators dividing the list to find nothing open again remaining. Connections and reflections and mirrors that sunset provides an ignorant delay for just a naked expression, questioning the energy. Projected for the unfortunate outside for the change and how proud I was to overcoming the clouds that was that spring break for the mistaking of the failure life for the awareness of the reality of the future of the hour. You can change your life in any minute for the second you regret remaining doing progress for outcome of effect emotions, infections. Becoming effective, effortlessly affirming yourself with a desire to be. Won't be too long. A situation that my eyes can't see.
listening to jazz. I love all jazz musicians.
Yeah.
I learn from jazz because jazz is free music. It's not something that compel. Jazz is so free that you're playing jazz and anywhere your finger go, you follow your finger and then a sound is formed and creates. So I love all jazz musicians.
Yeah.
I think it's jazz music as the original.
Better explanation of how to make it comfortable enough to accept the word. Yeah, why I don't even know that. But like a better explanation of how to make it comfortable enough to accept the word. It doesn't seem that you are the only reason to have a problem. Yeah, why I don't It shakes my waking soul. But like a better explanation of how to make it comfortable enough to accept the word. But I like a better explanation of how to make it comfortable enough to accept the word. It doesn't seem that you are the only reason to have a problem with the floating promises under bridges and burning your own demolition to exit wounds. You're for the long-term analogy, apologetic for the rhetoric is not considered to be even considered ignored. Stored inside an insecurity storage for protection. Insurance for all states of mind. I couldn't sleep in the dreams with the gentle or wondering ways, spreading words around in a pathetical poetic way. Of course, of reasons why I was never going under the way of Satan.
I love all jazz musicians. I learn from jazz.
Yeah,
jazz is
mind you, I don't even know.
It's not something that compel.
Yeah,
so
mind you, I don't even know.
You playing jazz and anyway you
Yeah, mind you, I don't even know.
A song is formed and creates. I love all jazz musicians.
But I like a better explanation of how to make it comfortable enough to accept the word. It doesn't seem that you are the only reason to have a problem with the floating promises under bridges and burning your own demolition to exit wounds. You're for the long-term analogy, apologetic for the rhetoric is not considered to be even considered ignored. Stored inside an insecurity storage for protection. Insurance for all states of mind. I couldn't sleep in the dreams with the gentle wandering ways, spreading words around in a pathetical poetic way, of course.
Yeah, mind you, I don't even know that. Yeah, mind you, I don't even know that. But I like a better explanation of how to make it comfortable enough to accept the word. It doesn't seem that you are the only reason to have a problem with the floating promises under bridges and burning your own demolition and exit wounds. You're for the long-term analogy, apologetic for the rhetoric is not considered to be even considered ignored. Stored. Yeah, mind you, I don't even know that. Yeah, mind you, I don't even know that. But I like a better explanation of how to make it comfortable enough to accept the word. It doesn't seem that you are the only reason to have a problem with the floating promises under bridges and burning your own demolition and exit wounds. Here for the long-term analogy, apologetic for the rhetoric is not considered to be even considered ignored. Stored inside an insecurity storage for protection. Insurance for all states of mind. I couldn't sleep in the dreams with the gentle or wondering ways, spreading words around in a pathetical poetic way, of course, of reasons why I was never going under the way of safety. Walking, crossing, my mind in a rush hour. Can't be too responsible to take a leap of faith on the blind date blindfolded with the unraveling of myself before your eyes. I would love to hear that heartbeat. Need no doubt for the ever again and birth of the flower, for the illusion the sun is a paradise and revelation of the light. My love is breath of fire hiding behind gestures and compliments from the inside out of the way of the music. The piano was trying to say to my heart, but consider yourself a blind person and see what you can do with it. She could be one with the who's to go in to mumble under their breath for the rest of the day, to the hide and seek out a forgiveness and revival, to revitalize what was the picture inside of the frame. What was that self-realization for the higher learning, burning blunts with no music teacher for the learning high notes. Low-key and misunderstood, standing under the burning bridges and demolition and accidental exit wounds. A long-term termination with pathetic humans being empathetic for the respect for the understanding of how energy is really music removed with the piano with the soothing, so sensitive to the eardrums that the beat never beaten. It's lost metronomes. My heart's been alone for some kill. Space between God and this planet involuntarily, that's not what it would for the love of its prosperity. Maybe it was used to me like that for the married God. Use me, or it was I got married. A woman is a goddess in her love, and I was carried washed in the blood like I was the carry out dance, and that she didn't know how she to leave soon. Moon will have rule, rhythm in the order, with the drifting in slow wave. Sound of the piano and high notes, low key fading, misunderstood. In the closing of my eyes to go to a place deep inside, away from the world, from where I can cherish the love for which we hope and find that peace. But when I'm down alone, so much is going outside of this world. I'm looking for the love that's deeper than the closed broken shelves, and why I look for the love and need it anywhere else. But my heart to release that pain. Nothing to lose but the game for the although I was never broken into insecurities and what you mean by the being. Enemy is the inner you, for the enemy is the real me that I don't have the eyes to see when I feel the pain. You cannot relate to neglecting. Love is innate to the destiny. I'm closing eyes, escaping. For the critical behavior is the peace of mind.
Yeah, that, mind you, I don't even know them. Yeah, that, mind you, I don't even know them. Yeah, that, mind you, I don't even know them. Yeah, that, mind you, I don't even know them. I mean, it's been that long. But a lack of better explanation of how to make it comfortable enough to accept the word. It doesn't seem that you are the only reason to have a problem with the floating promises under bridges and burning your own demolition of exit wounds. You're for the long-term analogy, apologetic for the rhetoric is not considered to be even considered ignored. Stored inside of insecurity stores for protection. Insurance for all states of mind. I couldn't sleep in the dreams with the gentle wandering ways, spreading words around in a pathetical, poetic way, of course, of reasons why I was never going under the way of safety. Walking, crossing, my mind in a rush hour. Can't be too responsible to take a leap of faith in a blind date blindfolded with the unraveling of myself before your eyes. I would love to hear that heartbeat, need no doubt for the ever again and birth of a flower, for the illusion the sun is a paradise and revelation that the light. My love is breath of fire hiding behind gestures and compliments from the inside out of the way of the music. The piano was trying to say to my heart that they consider yourself a blind person to see what you could do with it. She could be one with the who's to go in the rumble under the breath for the rest of the day, to the hide and seek out of forgiveness of revival, to revitalize what was the picture inside of the frame. What was that self-realization for the higher learning, burning blunts with no music teacher for the learning high notes. Low-key and misunderstood standing under the burning bridges and demolition and accidental exit wounds. A long-term termination with pathetic humans being empathetic for the respect for the understanding of how energy is really music will move you with the piano with the soothing, so sensitive to the eardrums the beat never beaten. It's lost metronomes. My heart's been alone for some kill. Space between God and this planet involuntarily, that's not what it wouldn't for the love of its prosperity. Maybe it was used to be like that for the married God used me, or it was I got married. A woman is a goddess in her love, and I was carried washed in the blood like I was the carry out dance, and that she didn't know how she to leave soon. Moon will have rhythm in an orbit with the drifting the slow wave. Sound of the piano and high notes, low key faded. Misunderstood. In the closing of my eyes to go to a place deep inside, away from the world, from where I can cherish the love for which we hope, find that peace. But when I'm done alone, so much is going outside of this world. I'm looking for the love deep within the closed book shelves, and why I look for the love and need it anywhere else but my heart to release that pain. Nothing to lose but the game for the although I was never broken into insecurities and what you mean by the being. Enemy is the inner you, for the enemy is the real me that I don't have the eyes to see when I feel the pain that you cannot relate to neglecting. Love is innate to the destiny. I'm closing eyes, escaping. For the critical behavior is the peace of mind.